It's time for the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is the voice of the working class, Rick Smith.
And welcome, brothers, sisters, working class heroes. This is the Rick Smith Show. Thanks so much for being here today on the big program. Lots to get to, lots to talk about. Boy, oh boy, what a good day. What a good day. Joe Biden signed into law the $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. That means we're going to get some roads and bridges done. We're going to get some broadband access. We're going to get a whole bunch of stuff done. Good on Joe Biden. And look, we needed it. And this is a huge win. And I still love the fact that our mainstream corporate-controlled media is saying, oh, well, Joe Biden's numbers are in the tank. And that has everything to do with the fact that you have a right-wing media in this country who has done nothing but attack the man since day one. This is what they do. And they've been feeding their minions, even though life is good for their minions, except the ones that are in jail, mind you. They're feeding them. Oh, it's horrible. It's bad. Those increased wages are killing you. The inflation is going up, yes, but it has nothing to do with Joe Biden. It has everything to do with the fact that our economy shut down for a long period of time, and we got some structural issues that, oh, by the way, just between you, me, and the four walls, the infrastructure bill will help. So, again, the fact that you did not have very many Republicans, 19 Republicans out of 50 who voted for this. There's a party over there that needs some help. But good on them. It was a hard-fought win. It was a win that the country needs. Good stuff. $550 billion in new spending. Now you go, but Rick, it's $1.2 trillion. Yeah, they kind of, 550 in new spending. The rest of it was stuff that they were going to spend anyway. But again, which is why, again, you go back to what Joe Biden wanted, $2.3 trillion to be spent on new spending. 550. And look, we're going to use it how we can. According to Mark Zandi, the chief economist over at Moody's Analytical, they're saying about 660,000 new jobs is where he's saying will be created by 2025. That's a good thing. There's a little bit of money in there for job training because, look, a lot of building, we're going to need a lot of people who know how to do stuff. And sadly, through years of disinvestment, through years of neglect, through years of not doing anything, we've had kind of a brain drain, and we're going to need to pick it up. We're going to need to figure out how to do things again. And this is why we need a little bit of money for training programs, apprenticeship programs. And look, my union brothers and sisters in the building trades do apprenticeship programs like nobody's business. So I've got great hope and faith in the future. But we're going to do the roads and bridges, and that's a good thing. About $110 billion to repave some roads, work on some stuff there, some bridges, good stuff. Where I live in Pennsylvania, one of the worst states in the country for roads and bridges, going to be a huge investment. Now, problem. I'll admit, problem. Going to see a lot of orange cones. Going to be a lot of traffic. Going to be a lot of backups. Going to be a lot of frustration. But on the other end of it, I'm hopeful that we won't have to worry about getting from one side of the bridge to the other without ending up in the drink. I think this is a good thing. Also going to spend some money on railroads, mostly passenger rails. Joe Biden, a big fan of Amtrak, as you remember. Took Amtrak to work every day when he was in the Senate. Going to spend a lot of money in the Northeast Corridor where the heaviest rail traffic is, that Boston to D.C. route. Going to spend a good chunk of it there, and that's a good thing. Also some money on freight rail, because guess what? You know how we solve our problem at the ports? You know how we solve our supply chain issues? Having a more efficient railroad system. If you watched the 60 Minutes piece the other night, which was really, really pretty good. They pointed out how everybody's the problem in this. But mostly the shipping companies who are just gouging that you-know-what out of people. But the problem still is in the ports, there's nowhere to go with anything. So you got all these ships waiting out in the bay, waiting to come in and be unloaded. Problem is, they can't get the stuff out. They are so jammed up right now. They are so just in overcapacity that they can't move. And you go, well, we just start moving things out. Yeah, the problem is all of the trailers that go under the containers are all full of empties, and that whole structural situation, big problem. And I don't know how we're going to get through this. It's going to take some time, which is why the right is just tingly in the panties over the fact that they can attack Biden over this, even though not his fault. But we're going to spend some money on that as well. Also, some money on the power grids, about $65 billion going to go into that. They're saying, look, we need a more reliable power grid. We need something that's going to, I don't know, when it gets cold, not stop working. Probably a good idea, especially as climate change comes on the line. So when we have extreme temperatures, we have extreme swings, a little more resilient, a little more reliable. Not a bad idea. Probably something we should have done, 30 years ago, but going to get done now. Also, broadband access. $65 billion going to go to broadband access. The major focus, getting broadband into rural communities and into low-income communities. Overwhelmingly, rural communities seem to be both. And this is where, my rural friends, people like me, go, yeah, we desperately need more reliable internet. We need more affordable internet. And there's also going to be some money in to help people be able to afford internet access. They're going to spend about $14 billion on that to make sure that it's more affordable for low-income folks. Because, again, what we learned through this pandemic is if you don't have decent, reliable internet, you didn't do your homework. If you had to go sit in the McDonald's parking lot and use their Wi-Fi, there's a problem there. So that's a good start, things we need to do. Also, on the water supply part, we need clean, fresh drinking water. The pipes need to be replaced. They're going to go after lead pipes. That is a good thing. They're going to spend $15 billion specifically on doing that. But overall, $55 billion on making sure that we have water. Not a bad idea, considering water is one of those things that, you need to live. And, I think we need decent water infrastructure because Nestle can't wait for ours to go belly up so that they can sell us our water. This is a reasonably sound investment. My favorite is the $47 billion they're going to spend in the catch-all. The catch-all of resiliency. I love that. But the catch-all of $47 billion for resiliency, things that are going to address floods and drought and, wildfires and all the stuff from climate change. As the temperatures swing, as our weather gets more extreme, probably going to need something in there. Some tree planting maybe. This is part of that climate conservation core that Biden wants to put in the Build Back Better plan. This is a little bit of piece of that because, hey, we do need more trees. Hey, we should be doing things to mitigate our fire risks. It's a smart investment. And again, all of this stuff in here, I think is, one, long overdue, but two, smart policy. For instance, public transit. They're going to spend about $39 billion on public transit to give people the opportunity to go use public transit to get to work or to wherever, where you don't have to be on those roads that are now going to be crowded with orange cones and angry road rage people who can't get anywhere. Public transit is a perfect opportunity. And what we know is, about 40% of the buses in this country and about 23% of the subway and rail cars are in bad shape. Here's a great opportunity to rebuild a manufacturing base here in this country. For me, this is captain of industry. Here's a profit opportunity. Some public money to buy us some buses and some rail cars. Not a bad idea. Also, airports. Biden said that LaGuardia was like a third world country, and I always throw out the Thomas Friedman quote. That when he came back from LAX from Beijing to LAX, it was like coming from the Jetsons to the Flintstones. We are the Flintstones. And if you've been to a major airport and tried to mull around there, we got problems. So $25 billion to rectify that. Some remediation money to clean up brown sites, going to do that. Our ports, they're going to spend $17 billion to try and build them bigger and do some dredging and all kinds of stuff. In there, and then they've got some water issues on the west. money for electric vehicle charging stations, all kinds of stuff. All stuff that are investments in the future. And you go, oh, that's all a waste of money. No, it's actually stuff that we've needed for a while. And fortunately, now it's going to get done. It's going to take time. It's going to take a couple of years for us to get into this and people trained to be able to do it. But these are good jobs. These are going to be good union jobs, good prevailing wage jobs, all good stuff. Now what needs to happen is we need to take the momentum from this wind and move it into the Build Back Better plan, which is something that we desperately need to pass now so we can begin to rebuild our economy, rebuild our competitiveness. And for me, that starts with manufacturing. And it starts with rebuilding our manufacturing, incentives to bring manufacturing back, and also to punish companies who go, you know what, yeah, we're not staying. I think we're going to go to Mexico or we're going to go to China. And one of those came across my desk over the weekend. This company, Tenneco. It's evidently been in the Ohio area, the Dayton area for a long time. They're a big company. They employ about 600, I think it was about 650 people right now. About 450 of them are union members. They're going to move 500 jobs to Mexico. That's what they just announced. They're, for those who know, they make shock absorbers. So if you need shock absorbers in the future, if they move a company not to buy them from, this is a company that's gotten millions of dollars in tax subsidies over the years, and now they're still going to Mexico and China. And this is where we need smart policy. We need to hold companies like this accountable. I said over the weekend, the one thing that I'd like to see is fine, go. We're going to put a tariff on you equal to the wages that you would have paid to the workforce that was here. If it's that better for you to do work in Mexico or China or somewhere else, there has got to be a gap. There's got to be something that says, well, fine, you can go wherever you want, but you're not going to bring your products back to the U.S. tax-free or tariff-free. It's not going to happen. And Mike DeWine, the Republican governor, said he was deeply disappointed. Deeply disappointed. He said Ohio's automotive workforce is second to none, and the Kettering facility lies within a day's drive of 70% of current North American auto assembly plants. He went on to say that we know that our talented workforce will be highly attractive for future investment and job creation. The other politicians also, saying the same thing. Slap in the face to the workforce, slap in the face to taxpayers of Ohio, and these companies don't care. Bad words, mean, no. I don't care about the words. Save your words. There needs to be action. At a time when our supply chains are this broken, you're going to say, oh no, we're going to stop making things here and we're going to move somewhere else. It's literally insane to me. But here we are in this moment where you go, this is what they do. There's an opportunity for them to make more money for themselves. This company is profitable by all indications that I've seen. It's just about more. Now they claim, this is, again, I love these moments. The claim now is, well, the supply chain, it's a little broken. The inflation costs of steel and the inflation costs of stuff. Well, we can't remain competitive. We looked at it from every angle, and well, this is the best business decision. And it may be the best business decision on the short term. On the short term, you and your shareholders may save some money, and the question then becomes, why do we have an economy that doesn't benefit working people, where we only think about the shareholders and the CEOs? And as consumers, this is something that we've got to think about. I've said for years, I want American-made products because I want those products to be made by Americans who need the jobs here at home first. I want them made by union members, which is why when I go to the supermarket, the first thing I do, and did this over the weekend, tweeted it out, I went to look at a couple of boxes of Frosted Flakes for the kids, and one had a union bug on it, one didn't. And you go, how's it possible on the same shelf right next to each other, I get one made in Mexico and one made here in the U.S. by union workers? And you go, well, which one do you think I bought? Of course, you get the one with the union labor made here in the U.S. But these companies don't think we care. These companies don't think that we're going to pay attention, that eventually we'll forget that the shock absorbers that you're going to need for your car or for your truck, Yeah, you're going to forget where they were made. Yeah, you don't care about that unless you were directly affected by it. And this is part of where I keep saying, look, we need to adopt a striker. We need to get out onto those picket lines and hear those stories. We need to take that master's class in working class economics and understand what working people go through each and every day and the threats that, especially in manufacturing, that people have been under for decades of stuff just like this Tenneco company in Kettering, Ohio. Well, we didn't get what we wanted. Well, we can make a couple extra pennies over there. So screw you, community that's supported us all these years, and screw you, tax base that's given us massive subsidies, and screw you, working people who've spent your lives dedicated to making us profitable and successful. We can do it cheaper somewhere else. And then the laws in this country go, yeah, just bring it on back, because consumers evidently aren't going to pay attention because we're all so broke that we're going, well, I gotta squeeze every quarter to make the eagle scream. And then you go, well, I got to buy the Chinese product because it's 30 cents cheaper. There's a problem. And this is where, and I talk about this all the time. This is where a working class ideology, this is where class consciousness comes into play. Because the job that you may save by being more conscious of your purchases might just be your own. The community that you save might be the one that you live in. Because you got to ask yourself, this small community outside of Dayton, Ohio, and Kettering, what's going to happen to this community? Those are 650 good-paying, family-sustaining jobs going to be gone. That means those 650 people who had a little money in their pocket, some disposable income to go into the local economy and keep everyone else afloat, it's not wiped out. Also, a couple of CEOs and a couple of shareholders could line their pockets. And what they do is they tell us, no, it's not just the handful of shareholders at the top. No, it's all the shareholders. Like you working person who has a 401k with like $5,000 in it. You're benefiting. No, you're not. You're getting screwed here. And we in the working class have been getting screwed for way, way too long. And this is one of those moments. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. I'm trying to get a hold of someone to share some thoughts on what's going on out there in Kettering, but this is just a shame, especially in this moment. Just crazy stuff, which is why, again, politics matters and who we vote for matters. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, John Fetterman, Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania and Senate candidate, is going to be here to share some thoughts on just this. Stick around.
Then workers standing up, and the union gives them voice.